that Cabinet noted progress on interventions in the Eastern Cape Education Department as part of that constitutional requirement of Section 100B. A task team comprising of 5 ministers, Minister of Justice and Constitutional Development, Basic Education, Finance, Higher Education and Training, and Public Service and Administration, will continuously interact with each other to advise on the turnaround plan to ensure that the intervention is implemented successfully. There was also a report on the Africa Youth Day Festival. Cabinet noted a report on the Africa Youth Day Festival and approved that the report be distributed to the National Youth Development Agency, NYDA, government departments and other key role players. The festival strengthened platforms for youth participation in decision-making at local, regional, and continental levels. The event affirmed the commitment of African governments to regional integration in youth development. In fact, there's an AU summit coming up just now on these youth matters. Cabinet approved the implementation of the Management Performance Assessment. In October 2010, Cabinet approved that the Department of Performance Monitoring and Evaluation design and pilot management performance assessments and report back to Cabinet on recommendations for rollout. The translation of management inputs into service delivery outputs through good management practices is important for improving service delivery. The management performance assessment involves assessing the quality of these management practices, and each component of performance assessment, which would be individuals, management and programs, or policy results, is an important element of the overall performance management system. On the abalone fishery, Cabinet noted the progress report on the conditional reopening of the commercial abalone fishery as of July 1st. Regarding COP17, Cabinet approved that South Africa hosts the COP17 conference of the parties preparatory African Energy Ministers Conference from 15 to 16 September 2011. South Africa is party to both the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change and this Kyoto Protocol. The UNFCCC sets an overall framework for intergovernmental efforts to tackle the challenges posed by climate change. Because the country is a signatory to the protocol, it has to comply to and participate in meetings and discussions. ILO, Cabinet approved that the Department of Labour hosts the 12th International Labour Organization African Regional Meeting from 10 to 14 October 2011 at the Sentim Convention Center in Johannesburg. During the State of the Nation address, the President Zuma indicated that one of the goals of government for the medium term is to ensure that our foreign relations contribute to the creation of an environment conducive to sustainable economic growth and development. To this effect, government will continue to prioritize the African continent by strengthening the African Union and its structures and give special focus to the implementation of the new partnership for Africa's development. Cabinet approved that the 2009/10 annual report on the Research and Development Tax Incentive Program be submitted to Parliament as part of the legislative requirement. The South African government offers tax incentives to encourage private sector investment in scientific and technological research and development activities in terms of Section 11B of the Income Tax Act. The Department of Science and Technology implements this program in conjunction with the South African Revenue Services, SARS, the Department of Trade and Industry, and National Treasury. Then we go to National Program for Developing a Titanium Metal Powder Industry in South Africa through strategic research and development. As part of an ongoing strategic update, Cabinet noted progress made by the Department of Science and Technology in establishing a titanium metal industry in South Africa and the priority interventions for 2011-12. This program is geared towards the production of cost-competitive titanium metal in powder form for use in aerospace and in other high-tech industrial applications. Cabinet noted the initiatives by the Department of Science and Technology to develop the next generation of researchers in response to the need for the country to produce an increased number of skilled individuals, especially in science, engineering, and technology. Findings of the 2008-9 National Survey of Research and Experimental Development. Cabinet noted the results of the 2008-9 National Survey of Research and Experimental Development. This survey was commissioned by the Department of Science and Technology to monitor the flows of the research and development investment and performance by different sectors, namely government, science councils, higher education institutions, business sector, and the non-profit sector. In terms of current affairs, President Jacob Zuma is planning to visit 5 provinces as part of government's ongoing monitoring and evaluation effort. The next visit is planned for Limpopo on 7 July 2011. The focus will be on health in keeping with outcome 2, which anticipates a healthy life for all South Africans. To enhance the overall visibility of government's program of action, Deputy President Mutante will visit Petrosville in the Northern Cape on 24-25 June to assess implementation of programs under the War on Poverty campaign. July 2nd marks the 100 days countdown for Census 2011. Cabinet calls on all South Africans to stand up and be counted. The census is a tool which guides planning, policy making, the allocation of resources, and monitoring and evaluation of programs and policies. Cabinet noted that a high-profile media event to formally launch the Curriculum Assessment Policy Statement, CAPS, is scheduled for July 2011. The final CAPS were formally handed to the Minister of Basic Education, and the process requires that the Minister now publishes the CAPS in the Government Gazette. This will culminate in CAPS being declared a national education policy, thus concluding the curriculum implementation review process initiated by the Minister in 2009. Cabinet also noted that the Minister of Basic Education, Minister Motshekga, will release the national report on the annual national assessment, HANA, on 28 June 2011. The commemoration of the International Day Against Drug Abuse and Illicit Trafficking will take place in Fezile Dabi District Municipality in the Free State on 26 June 2011. This will take place under the leadership of the Department of Social Development and will provide a platform to address the challenges of substance abuse facing youth. Cabinet calls on all South Africans to comply with the statutory requirements of the RICA legislation, which is part of the government's effort to fight crime. The deadline for the registration of cell phone SIM cards ends at 30 June 2011. The 3rd Municipal Water Quality Conference will take place from 27 June until 1 July under the theme Reshaping the South African Municipal Water Quality Landscape. The conference provides a platform for government to communicate key interventions and programs aimed at managing drinking water quality and wastewater services. The theme of working together to build a caring society for Nelson Mandela International Day on 18 July provides government departments with a platform to celebrate and acknowledge the legacy of the former President Nelson Mandela in a manner that integrates key programs impacting on the lives of South Africans. July 18 also marks the 99-day countdown to the 2011 matric examinations. Cabinet wishes our learners well in preparing for this important milestone. Cabinet also calls on all South Africans to unite behind our national sports teams by supporting the Magnificent Fridays campaign. This is in view of Special Olympics team as they compete in 2011 Special Olympics World Summer Games taking place in Athens, Greece, 25 June to 4 July 2011. The national netball team, Amantombazana, will compete in the World Netbank Championships in Singapore from 3 to 10 July, and Swim SA will participate in the 14th World Cup in Shanghai, China, in July 16 to 31. Just a few announcements in terms of the international agenda. Incoming state visit by President of Tanzania, Jakaya Mrisho Kikwete, 19 to 20 July 2011. International Atomic Energy Agency Ministerial Conference on Nuclear Safety, 20 to 24 June in Vienna, Austria. The G20 Development Working Group, 29 June to 3 July in Cape Town. South Africa continues to strengthen various binational arrangements in the continent, in particular the DRC. Cabinet noted progress made in that part of the country, in that part of the continent. Bills approved for submission to Parliament. The South African Language Bill, 2011. The promulgation of the use of South African Languages Bill 2011 will respond directly to the obligation imposed by Section 6 of the Constitution. The bill only provides for the regulation and monitoring of the use of official languages by national government. Then the Government's Employee Pension Law Amendments Bill. This bill seeks to amend the Government's Employee Pension Law, 1996, to provide for the payment of pension interest to a former spouse of a member of a divorcee, or dissolution of a customary marriage, or to amend the powers of the board to make rules, and to amend the provisions providing for the recognition of pensionable service of former member or non-statutory forces. Then there were a couple of appointments that Cabinet approved. Mr. Matthew Simmons is now Deputy Director General, Budget Office in the Treasury. Mr. Samuel Tuto Masike Shomang is now Deputy Director General, Asset and Liability Management in National Treasury. Ms. Nombuise Lonomvuyo Jeanette Mukwen is now Deputy Director General, Corporate Services in the Department of Science and Technology. Ms. Nomfundo Chazbana, Deputy Director General, Economic Policy Analysis and Forecasting in the National Treasury. Mr. Miran Shan Ramburuth was reappointed Commissioner of the Competition Commission. In the SOE front, Transnet Board made these two appointments to fill in vacancies. These were Ms. Yasmin Fox, Ms. Nishi Cho, were appointed non-executive directors of the Transnet Board for a period of 3 years. And then on the South African Special Risk Insurance Association Limited, SASRIA, these appointments were made. Ms. Karen Pepler was appointed Executive Director, and Mr. Cedric Masondo was appointed Managing Director, SASRIA, and also as an Executive Director to the Board of Directors.